Sorry for that inconvenience. Crashed out of the race, of the session actually. I lost connection. So sorry about that to our spectators. I lost the connection from the server and I don't really know what happened because my connection is still up, but the game crashed me. And we're now back on lap 32 of the race. We're 20 missing. Everything looks at the same way as we left. So sorry for this inconvenience. We have all the spectators coming back and live. Really thank them. We're at on board the race leader, the championship leader. What tires are they on? They are all on the medium tires. Yes, where we left, likely anything spectacular happened. So sorry if the game crashed. We're back now. We still have Simopets in the lead, Julius in second place, Giga with F1 Warren with his new account. We have Fred Nolasco into the pit. That's quite a news. Let's see where he's gonna end up. We have also Barks overtaking the Williams driver of Mr. GM Hammer Time. Very well done to Barks, little hood. The Williams brakes really hate lose time to the Renault driver, who's on a much fresher set of mediums. He overtook his teammates, was in the pit, and get back into P8. When he pitted, he was in P6, just because Deep Power and F1 Mason are still yet to pit. So he's surely gonna take it back. Mooman is in the grass. He spawned the first sector. Many drivers spawned there. As him, we've seen Happy and Luca. And he gets lapped from Simopets. He's now in P11 and he lost 5 seconds to Fred Nolasco, who's on a brand new set of soft tires and he's gonna fly with them. And he's probably gonna set the fastest lap of the race so far. Just give him 1 or 2 laps to him. Let's see the penalty. What they say, we have Simopets with 3 seconds, Happy and Luca both with 3, Mason with 9, so Deep Power is actually virtually ahead of him, but they're still yet to pit. Baxter the Hood within 3 as a 3-second time penalty, and Mr. G-Man Hammer Time is within that gap, so he needs to really increase the pace the Renault driver to secure this place from him. Fred Nolasco and Mooman goes 3 seconds, and it's Muzen goes 33 seconds of penalties. That's quite a big amount of penalties. I have no idea how he's not disqualified yet. And then we have Clay with 12, China, finishing the grid. We have T-Brand 1 with 11 seconds of penalties. The closest battle is between Fred Nolasco and Mr. Jim and Hammer Time, who have seen being overtaken many times this race so far. Quite unfortunate for him, but he's still in the points. So it's still a very good effort from him. Fred out in his soft tires is really gonna overtake him quite easily. You can see he's preparing the overtake quite nicely, and he's gonna overtake him even before the DRS zone. Overtake on. The Williams drivers try to fight back, but it's anything that can be done for him. And hopefully he's gonna pit this lap. It's not, he's continuing. That's not quite the decision that should be done, because he can't go till the end with his set of mediums, so he needs to pit for the soft tires and try desperately to close the gap to Mooman. We're going to see Fred and Lasco really revving up his Renault and work his way to the field. He's probably gonna get his teammate Barks, which is won't be that bad because they're gonna swap the place around, but there are still the same points for the teams, and maybe Fred has more pace than his teammates to get to Luca, even if the gap is way too big, over 30 seconds. Only a mistake from the Aston Martin drivers could free them of the fifth place, because I want to remember F1 Mason and D-Power are still yet to pit. Maybe D-Power can go to the end, but by the last 10 laps it's gonna be absolutely slow. It's gonna drive on ice. We want to see a battle between these two drivers, and F1 Mason goes into the pits after 34 laps on to the mediums. Many people are going back into the live, so sorry if it crashed, but it threw me off. And Fred and Lasco overtook Baxter Hood, or I should say a Latin pass. He does know that his teammates is fastest, is the faster one, because he finished in P2, but a very good effort for Baxter Hood. I want to know that every driver bet on his final place unless he was getting the best out of it. Happy bet that he will get P5 and his country P4, and he closed the gap to F1 Warren. That's quite an incredible thing. By the time I left, it was 9 seconds off, so probably the Mercedes driver has done a mistake, and Happy is gonna try to get the move down for the podium places, as Fred and Lasco on the soft tires easily passed the power. But let's focus on this battle. 3-second time penalty for Baxter Hood. That's quite an unfortunate one. He needs to stay calm, finish the 15 laps, get him the points finishing that he needs to. Simobets 1:27.822 fastest lap. We're gonna see a battle between these two. We've seen in the first 15 laps, and it's quite amazing. So hopefully they're gonna give us Warren through the limits on the gravel. Happy with a McLaren, just whips around the outside with the DRS and sit into the podium places. He needs to get 3 seconds between his car and the Mercedes car to secure this third place, because he has a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting given by multiple warnings. Giga, known as Warren, is just about in the DRS range. Is gonna keep it. Let's see. The DRS line is way before. Let's see if he got DRS, and he did, even if he was 1 second up, because there is the DRS line, and if you cross that 1 second of lower to the car in front, you will get the DRS ability, I should say, that really help you into the drag to drag the car, really gives you maximum speed. Combined with overtakes, it's such a threat to overtake, and you can hang on just about with a 1.1 seconds We have some people joining and lefting the session, but they aren't allowed to race because every spot that was covered at the start of the race. We have 15 drivers running. We had 4 retirements. Eisenberg and Godzilla into the pits Eisenberg as neglected into the pits as neglected because he got disqualified, while Godzilla and Miyagi retired from the session after breaking the suspension respectively into the Beckett's and to the Cops corner. Claire Racing 3-second time penalty is currently running P13. Instinct on the mediums looks better than the softs one, but it doesn't look like a points finishing for him. But we have 11 races to go. We have 11 races in the championship. This is the round 2 of the UKSS.com Battle Racing League, so there are still 9 to come, and hopefully we're going to see many good races from the drivers, some underdog, as we're seeing Simopets dominating this first place in every session. He only lost the first place in Hungary on the first lap with Fred Nolasco, who got a rocket start and took the lead for the first few laps. But now there isn't that much of a fight because he's 21 seconds clear of the Mercedes driver of Julius Race, that is known as the Genius. He's known that in his teams. Let's see some supports in the chat. Write some comments down, some questions. Dakar Racing League, who are giving a discount code, who is Reno15. Use that on the link that I'll send in the chat. You should have a look. If you're a student, you will love to see that. Let me drink something. We have only 11 laps to go. I will say this race is really flowed. I'm really loving and exciting, as I hope you're doing watching the live stream. I've seen so far that we have many supporters of Simopets. Maybe that's the case of his consistence, who brought this P1 in all sessions that we get. And there's this still good fight for P3, who is a 20. No, it's not Rhino, baby, it's Renault, like the car, like the yellow car of Fred Nolasco that's I'm showing right now. You can see that it's Rod Renault in the halo, and I'll write the code down in the chat. There you go. You can use it to have a discount code on UKSS.com Battle Racing League. I send the link of the website in the chat. You can have a look. Fred Nolasco working his way up. He lost many places at the start. He was dead last by the end of lap 1. He's now currently in P6. But as I was saying some laps earlier, many drivers bet on their finishing places. Happy bet on yellow flag. Okay, that's clear. Happy bet for him to finish 5th, and is currently 3rd, virtually 4 because of his penalty. Then we had Mickey 76, who thought he was gonna finish 5th, but it didn't even start the race. That's quite unfortunate for him. Another player who bet for his 5th place finishing was Mooman Graham, with currently 9. Then we had Barks Littlewood, who bet for 10th place, and I should say he's really doing a very good job, because he finished the race in Hungary quite off the pace, quite off the points, around P13, P14, and is now showing really good pace in P8, just second of T-Power, so he's gonna snatch his position to get P7, but he really needs to create a gap from him. Let's see the penalty situation. He does have a 6-second time penalty. I have to say D-Power by these last 9 laps is gonna be extremely slow because of the 31 old R tires, and Barks really need to stretch that gap and get that overtakes done as fast as he can. As with Mason, overtook Mooman, or I should say he let his teammates pass, most likely, because he's on a soft tires. He does have the possibility to push quite more than his teammates. Let's see, Barks is within 2 tenths of the McLaren driver. Is preparing the overtake to do it on the back straight. Let's see the line of the two of them as well in the track. Overtake on, DRS wide open, deep overtake the racing line and gets overtaken by the Renault driver, and they are now both sitting in P6 and P7, but Barks had to stretch the gap to 6 seconds to the McLaren driver, who on these really old hard tires even risk to get a puncture on the last laps. Hopefully it will still make to the points finishing places. Ooh, really close. That's quite a lock up. Barks is really being held up from the last driver, and the McLaren almost ran into the back of the Renault. Now Barks has to get his pace up, going off the second gap to D-Power and break the DRS range. That's the closest battle we have on track. We have also Giga with F1 Warren, that is within 1 second of McLaren driver of Epi, but is really not thinking about overtaking the podium sitter because he has a penalty, and is really controlling the race to his favor to get the second Mercedes onto the podium. I want to remember you all that this race goes to Richard Green, a 45 years old friend of D-Power that tragically lost his friends some days ago, and he's racing for him. Ooh, Barks got a really bad exit and gets overtaken by the McLaren driver. I wonder what was the problem. Was he about to spin? It's really taken. I have no idea what happened there, but Barks really now needs to close the gap once again and to rewrite the overtake. Fred and Lasco 3-second time penalty. This won't affect him at all because he's currently in P6, 24 seconds away from Luca, who's in P5, and D-Power, who is in P7, 22 seconds away. As I was saying, the bets that the drivers did are gonna give them 1 point in the Driver Constructor Championship if they got it right. Simo bet himself on his first place and it does looks like he's gonna get the extra point of the bet. Then we have Warren of that's Giga, who bet third place and is now virtually on third place because of the penalty of the McLaren driver. Then we have Power, who bet for the fourth place. He wrote in the chat that would be quite an amazing result for him, and is currently P7, so not that far off, but I really need to work it on it to get into the podium places. Then we have F1 Mason, who bet for the fourth place, quite an audacious bet, seeing that is now, let me see, is P9 with a brand new set of soft, which is gonna accompany him by the end of the race. We have 6 spectators in the chat. If you want, you can write some comments, some questions. Ooh, Giga, unhappy. What happened? It was 2 seconds away. It was stretching the gap, and is now lost its place to the McLaren, the Mercedes driver. And as I speak, Bart's little Wood gets the move done on the McLaren driver D-Power. Both McLaren's driver lost 1 position, but this won't affect much their races because Happy had a 3-second time penalty anyway, and as well for Baxter the Hood who has a 6-second time penalty, really needs to gain 1 second out of every lap. Ooh, Giga, they're going wheel to wheel into the club chicane. Let's see who's gonna blink first. Is the Mercedes drivers who really go wide? Comes back into the track. Ooh, Happy, he spun. His spawn is now in the grass. Probably that comes back into the race of Warren. Was just about in the limit. And influence really the throttle application of the McLaren driver, who is gonna be really frustrated as it stands. Let's see the penalty, because now we could get a very nice fight for 4th place with Luca, who can see his rival. You can see he's just there in the screen, and he's gonna desperately trying to get into the DRS range to have a good fight for the 4th place. We'll give him 12 points into the driver and constructor championship, and also is gonna win the fight between Aston Martin and McLaren, who are rival in this championship. I want to watch the rivalry back of Fattori between Ferrari. There isn't that much of a fight there because the Ferrari is dominating, but both Alpha are in the points. That's nice from them, P9 and P10, the last spot. But Eisenberg, who got to really nice race pace in the Hungarian, within the top 5 in every lap of the race, is retired after spinning at Stowe. While the battle between Aston Martin, McLaren and Renault, it looked like it's gonna be won by McLaren, because Happy will score 12 points as it stands, with D-Power is gonna score 6 because Baxter to Hood has a 6-second time penalty, and so the McLaren driver is gonna take the win day in this trio fight. Last time around in Hungary was won by Fred Nolasco, and so the Renault, with 8 between Mercedes and Renault, and today there isn't that much of a dominance. There is a dominance, sorry, because the 2 Mercedes drivers are currently in P2 and P3 for a total of 28 points. Look at 3-second time penalty, and this is gonna end up the possibility for him to get into 4th place, because now he has a 6-second time penalty, and unless of a mistake of his driver up ahead, he's gonna stick into 5th place, and Happy's gonna breathe right now, and is gonna probably walk the car quite safely into P4. Let's watch some laps on board with Simopets, who gets his overtake on. Is probably gonna try to do the fastest lap. Let's see if it's his with a 1:27.8, slightly lock up. Let's back into the gap. Let's see if we can do a fastest lap, and he does 1:27.7, just a tenth clear of his best lap that he did many ago, I should say. He's probably gonna charge the battery a bit and then try to do another fastest lap in the last laps. We've seen him doing it in Hungary, a fastest lap after another one. Is a pit stop clear of Julia's race with another Italian driver. The Italians are really showing a very good pace in this league. We have currently in P1, P2, P5 with Luca, and then go down to Godzilla, who was running into the points on the medium tires and then spun into cups and retired from the race. Fred Nolasco had a 3-second time penalty, but it won't affect it anyway. If I have to say, after the Hungarian race, the drivers really step up a level, where surely F1 Warren were fighting for the points around P6, P7, and to get into the podium places is really a good opportunity for him to get a boost of confidence, and helps Julius Race to fight for the Constructor Championship. Then we have Fred Nolasco, who is not one of the ups, is one of the down of this race, because he was always in P2 in the Hungarian, and is currently sitting in P6. But we have to say that after crashing on lap 1, it really makes his way up to the field, and is now sitting on P6. Maybe without spinning in the first lap, it would have been there with the Luca, Happy and Giga to fight for P3. But we have still 9 rounds to go, and hopefully we are gonna enjoy it as this race, where we had some good fights, some crazy overtake from Luca around the outside of F1 Warren. Let's go on board with the Ferrari driver of Simopets, who is gonna start the last lap, and I won't watch it on the TV cam. These onboards are absolutely wonderful. I love them. I hope you do. This is to the side of the... Is he happy? Because actually he's currently gaining so much time on the Mercedes driver, and he's now in the DRS range, and he's gonna surely try to get the podium places at least on track, because he's gonna get overtaken because of his penalties. Let's see if the overtake on DRS is gonna swoop onto the racing line while Giga goes defensive. They're gonna be will to will into stall. They're extremely close. F1 Warren is gonna concede that position. He's gonna go for the switchback, but Giga Happy holds the place to get P3. Simopets win the race in P1. Oh no, it's not the last lap, sorry. That's my mistake. Sorry about that. We have still a lap to come, and In my opinion, Epi chose the right moment to overtake F1 Warrior, because dirtier is such a thing now. Oh, and sadly for Bugs, for Bugs, he got another 3-second time penalty. Probably he was trying to push to the limit, trying to stretch the gap to 6 seconds, but now it's impossible. And Simopets win the race, wins the second round of the UK Essays.com Battle Racing League, and he's take the checkered flag with the fastest lap. He also gets this bet, and he's gonna get 27 points out of this race. Julius says crosses the line for a very solid P2. Nice race from him, a back-to-back podium from him. Then we have this battle between F1 Warren and Happy. Lucas spectating just some meters behind. Giga doesn't have much space to get into the podium places, but he will, thanks to the penalty of Happy. Let's see the McLaren driver crossing the line, but getting overtaken by F1 Warren, and we have to congratulate with the drivers, because he was the only one probably not to get a penalty. Him and Julia race the two Mercedes. And we have Fred Nolasco, the last one to conclude the race, currently P6, and is gonna end up there. And that's the race over. You can hear the drivers cheering up. The driver of the day is F1 Mason, D Power and Epi talking through the race. I will say goodbye to you after this podium celebration. I'm so sorry if today there was a problem of a lag. You can see the Ferrari cheering up of Simopets, of Julius, and F1 Warren with his other account. I'll say goodbye to you. Fred Nolasco at the end got a 27.0. Oh, that's the fastest lap, and it's gonna gain 6. It got 9 points out. Thanks to the comments, he said, of a nice live. Thanks you so much. We're going to see you next week. Have a good week, and bye.